Hey everyone, it's your girl Amanda Schaefer here, and this is part 3 of reacting to Beatles facts. Let's see which Beatle I'll be reading facts from today, shall we? Looks like I'll be reading facts of my favorite Beatle, Paul McCartney. I'm gonna have a blast with this one. Okay, time to get serious. Alright. The legend of Paul McCartney began on June 18, 1942, at Walton Hospital in Liverpool, England. His parents were James, a cotton salesman and one-time musician, and Mary Patricia, a nurse at Walton. McCartney's full birth name is James Paul McCartney. I've heard some people call him by his first name, but we all call him by his middle name. Anyway, let's see what else. Okay. McCartney must have inherited the musical gene from his father Jim. His dad performed in a jazz band during the 1920s, playing the trumpet and the piano. He gifted a young McCartney with a trumpet for his 14th birthday. However, McCartney would later exchange it for an acoustic guitar so he could sing while playing an instrument. That's understandable. I've taken guitar classes in my sophomore year in high school, and let me tell you, I had a ball. Changing the chords may be tough because you have to really press down on the strings, and that kind of hurts your fingers. But other than that, I had so much fun playing the guitar. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Okay. McCartney turned to vegetarianism in 1975, and since 2013, he has followed a vegan diet. McCartney decided to ditch meat from his diet after observing a herd of lamb as he and his then-wife Linda were dining on lamb. McCartney has been a vocal supporter of various animal rights causes. He has been involved in campaigns for organizations like People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, Humane Society International, and World Animal Protection. I may be an animal lover, but I'm not a vegetarian. And as a matter of fact, there's an episode of The Simpsons called Lisa the Vegetarian, where she decides to be one. And she meets Paul and Linda that one day, and Paul told Lisa that he and Linda both feel strongly about animal rights. Well, if that's how they feel, then I'm not complaining. Alright, what else? Okay. McCartney met his first wife Linda Eastman for the first time while she photographed the Beatles at their 1966 Shea Stadium concert. The two had a more intimate meet-cute at a Georgie Fame concert in London the following year. The two hit it off and were married in 1969. They would both be later members of Paul's post-Beatles project Wings. Sadly, Linda passed away from breast cancer in 1998 at the age of 56. I actually read an article about Paul's final days with Linda, and he actually said to her, "I'll always love you," while he was on the verge of tears. So sad. Paul really loved her, didn't he? Alright, let's see what else we got. Alright. McCartney's daughter Stella is a very influential fashion designer. She lends her name to a fashion house label that has retail operations in trendy locales like West Hollywood, Mayfair in London, and New York's Soho. Like her dad, Stella is also a vegetarian and animal rights activist, and as a result, does not use fur or leather in any of her pieces, following in her dad's footsteps. How touching. Alright, let's see what else we got. Alright. McCartney married his third and current wife, Nancy Shevell, in 2011. The couple first started dating in 2007, and Shevell is a former member of the board of the New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Little known fact, apparently they married on John's birthday in 2011. How do you like that? Alright. Let's see what else we have. Okay. It took McCartney 3 tries to successfully audition for his church's choir. He bombed his first 2 auditions, though he claims that one of those times he was a deliberate attempt at failing, as he simply didn't want to be a choir boy at that point. I used to go to church every Sunday, but my family and I, we just stopped doing that. Oh well. Okay, here's one. McCartney had a pretty rocky relationship with the king of pop, Michael Jackson. They initially seemed to be kindred spirits and collaborated on many tracks, most notably The Girl Is Mine and Say, Say, Say. However, things soured once Jackson acquired the publishing rights to the vast majority of the Beatles' catalog before selling a portion of it to Sony Music. McCartney was completely blindsided by the move, and the two would never work together again. Jeez. I like Michael Jackson too, but that was totally something, I tell ya. Okay. McCartney's first serious girlfriend was a young woman from Liverpool named Dot Roan, whom he met when he was 17. They were serious and planned to get married, but their relationship had a disturbing dark side. He would pick out clothing for her, and he dictated how she should style her hair and makeup. He also discouraged her from seeing her friends. Holy crap, that is huge! Oh boy. I hate when things take a dark turn, don't you? And it continues. Despite their problems, she was deeply committed to him, but their union was doomed to a heartbreaking end. Roan was pregnant with McCartney's child, but suffered a miscarriage. A few weeks later, he broke up with her. Oh, Jesus. Miscarriages are never good. I've read a few stories where a character suffered a miscarriage, and I even saw something like that on TV. Tragic, ain't it? Alright. Paul McCartney was the only Beatle wearing a beard during the recording and filming of the Let It Be album and movie. Ironically, he was the only Beatle without a beard on the cover of Abbey Road, which was recorded the same year as Let It Be. And of course, Paul was the only one not wearing shoes on the Abbey Road cover. Okay. Paul once brought a racehorse for his dad named Drake's Drum. If you try saying Drake's Drum 3 times fast, it kind of sounds like a tongue twister. I won't even think about trying it, at least not right now. Alright. Okay. Paul was just 15 years old when he first met John Lennon. Yep. I remember that day like it was yesterday. July 6th, 1957. That's when Paul and John first met. And July 6th just so happens to be my brother's birthday. Of course, he was born on that day in 1994. Alright, let's get back to the Beatles topic, shall we? Saturday is the only day of the week not mentioned in the Beatles song Lady Madonna. Great song, let me tell you that. I wish I knew why Saturday wasn't mentioned in that. Oh well. Alrighty, let's see what else. Paul was originally the lead guitar player for the Quarrymen and only began playing bass guitar after Stuart Sutcliffe quit the group. That is something. And it's such a shame that Stu died at such a young age. Okay. John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote 295 songs together. Whew. That's a good amount of songs, I say. Okay, one more fact for now, and then we'll be done. Paul McCartney and George Harrison first met on a bus while the two were schoolboys to and from the Liverpool Institute High School for Boys. And apparently, George was the first one of the Beatles that Paul met. I read about that in a book I got for Christmas. Okay, that'll about do it for the Paul facts, but we're still not done with this book. We have 2 more Beatles to go. Are there any Paul McCartney facts that you found interesting or that blew your mind that I've read today? Comment them down below and don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video on whichever Beatle I'll be reading from next. See you later, alligator.